Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Your host, V&M General Manager Kevin Jean and Daiwa Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff will keep you up to date on what's happening on the best lakes in the Arklatex region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, two guys who have fished at a high level with Pro-Am experience with ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers with a wealth of knowledge and willing to share. So pull up a chair, kick back, and see why so many anglers watch Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Are we not?
We're not live. We are live.
Okay.
And we are live, believe it or not just live, but we are live. You're watching Tackle Talk Live. I'm Ranger Daiwa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean, and running the board, producing this show and fixing all the problems back there.
Having a heck of a day.
Is our media expert, one and only James Stanfield. And today's show, Kevin, we've got one of the winners. We've got Hunter Marshall coming on of Team Marshall and Odell, who walked away from the Texas Team Trail with 28.16 pounds of fish to win it.
Steve, they caught them. I mean, they had a 10.32. There was two 10-pounders weighed in the Texas Team Trail.
Yeah.
They bit. I mean, they bit. They caught them all throughout the tournament, but a little over 28 pounds this time of year when the bass are really wanting to make that move. That's a heck of a sack.
And they had a good turnout. Looks like they had, which Texas Team Trail draws extremely well. Some guys commit to basically that, and that's all they fish. So, but it's the best of the best in the state of Texas. If you want a challenge, go fish the Texas Team Trail team circuit. It's a tough deal. But before we get to Hunter, we're going to take a real quick break. Hopefully everything will still be working when we come back from break. But you're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your healthcare needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6, just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry two of the best fishing boats on the market, from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins, as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full-support Garmin and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's Four-Way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santone, Spro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49, or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to Tackle Talk Live, and this segment presented by Toledo Health, The Boat Shop, 3J's Four-Way, home of Cypress Knee Outdoors. And on the Tackle Talk hotline, we have with us right now Hunter Marshall, who, along with his partner Trace Odell, won the Texas Team Trail event on Sam Rayburn with a total weight of 28.16. And Hunter, y'all whacked them, man. That's all you can say.
Yes, sir. It was a heck of a day, dream day. You know, one we all dream of for sure.
I don't think me and you, the day we fished together, I don't think we had that kind of day.
We did not. It was a little tougher that day.
Yeah, it was.
Hunter, have you been on before? Talking before the tournament here, I don't want to jump into the tournament yet. Have you been on Rayburn a lot this year? I know you're down from around the Beaumont area. Have you been on the lake a good bit?
I haven't been on it too much. I've been working a lot of overtime. But I mean, every chance I've gotten, I'd say I've spent 10 days on the water, maybe 15 days on the water. I mean,
yeah,
not a lot.
So Texas Team Trail is, of course, off limits up until Friday. Texas Team Trail does allow Friday as a practice day. Kind of take us through Friday. I mean, did you find these fish on Friday? Is this a group that you kind of have found before? Kind of take us through practice here and what you was expecting.
Yeah, no, Friday, me and my partner and I should say, split up. He focused on one end of the lake, and I kind of went up a little further. And I found one little area with some fish in it, nothing that that I thought would do us any good. And he didn't stumble across anything either, so we ended up messing around with some fish that it's more of like a place that I found 3 years ago, I believe, and they've never been this size.
Yeah.
I mean, did you know? I mean, in practice, did you catch a couple of that size, or?
I did not. I didn't go practice. I don't ever practice this place. It's just somewhere I've kind of thrown in the milk run that I tend to hit, throughout the day, once or twice a day, just because I know the potential that, I have caught one or two there that are pretty good size.
Right.
Now, Hunter, you bring up a good topic to talk about real quick. You say you really don't ever throw at them much on practice. Are you one of those idle and look guys? Are you reading your electronics all day, graphing?
No, sir. I'm not too great with the electronics, to be honest with you. I've got two 12. I've got a Lowrance 12 on the front and a Lowrance 12 on the back. I got side scan. I don't have the live. I don't have 360. I don't have any of that. I just I do a lot more fishing than idling, I would say.
Yeah. All right, that's going back a little old school. I mean, let's be honest, Kevin. That's rare today for guys like this to win.
Well, when we say it's rare, and just like we talked to Dakota Ebear last week, I think a lot of this is starting to get blown. Now, we're sitting here watching MLF, and that's how these guys are catching this week, too.
That today.
But I think a lot of it might be getting blown out of proportion a little bit. I think you're using them when we necessarily don't have to.
Right.
But, Hunter, so, decent little practice, kind of take us through tournament. Starting, tournament morning, did we run straight to a spot and catch one? I mean, kind of take us through the morning now.
Yeah, so, I'd like to actually back up because I'd want to throw something in there.
Yeah.
The way this all happened was kind of crazy. I showed up to registration, Thursday evening, and a guy named Jared Christmas, he does like the cameraman stuff for Outlaw. He does it for a lot of different people.
Yeah, Jared's actually fished with me before.
Jared's done some video work for me at V&M. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so he's a really, really cool guy. He, he does the Outlaw outdoor stuff as well. Yeah. And we went on a bachelor trip with Clint together, Clint Wade, and so we got to know each other pretty good. Well, I saw him at registration Thursday, and he asked if he could jump in the boat or if he could have a cameraman go with us. Just, I guess, they were looking for some film. And I told him, I said, I'm not really on much. I said, I don't really think it'd be worth it. And he goes, you'd probably get me fired anyways. Ain't no telling what you'd say. So going into the tournament day, he's like, okay, whatever. So Saturday, we take off. So I guess that was Friday evening, right? So Saturday morning of the tournament, we head to the first spot. It's not somewhere I had practiced or anything like that. Like I said, it's just an old spot that I felt like they should be getting at. And we pull up, we catch a fish. It was a small, I think we caught a 2-pounder. And we noticed a boat had pulled up out from us, and they were just kind of idling around, almost like they were just watching. And so I kind of put my trolling motor on high, and I was going to actually try to play a little defense and push them off the ridge. And I happened to catch a 4-pounder behind the boat on a jig. And anyways, he kind of stands up and he goes, Hunter, is that you? And I was like, Jared? I heard his voice, and I was like, he's like, hey, I'm getting in the boat with you. And I was like, well, stay there. I'll come to you and get you. I don't want you idling over here.
Right.
I didn't want to scare the fish or anything like that. So I went and picked him up, and whenever I turned around and got back over there, it was like a magic show, man. Threw a big crankbait out there, and I ended up catching, I think the first fish we caught with him in the boat might have been an 8-pounder.
Wow.
I think 2 or 3 casts later maybe was another 4. And then within the next 10 minutes, I caught a 10-pounder.
Yeah. That's almost spooky. I mean,
it was insane. It's the craziest day I've ever had, for sure.
Well, and to go out there and to do that, of course, you obviously felt pretty good at where you were at because you caught some fish there before. But again,
Yes,
they
sir.
just weren't the size that you were used to catching. They were a lot bigger, weren't they?
A 10 and an 8, I would think so.
Yeah, 10 and an 8s are pretty good. So now, was there any secret technique or anything, Hunter, y'all were doing a little different? Was the A-rig part of your game plan?
I don't really throw an A-rig much, and especially, when you got stumps or, lay downs and
Right.
things like that involved, I'm not too good with it. And, being that I don't have the forward-facing sonar, it's really hard to tell where you're at in the water column with that thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to throw if you don't have the forward-face sonar in timber. So I heard you say you caught the 1 4-pounder on a jig, and then you picked up the plug and caught another good one. So the 8-pounder and the 10-pounder, what were those caught on?
Both on a crankbait.
Both on a crankbait. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
And how deep?
I'd say I really don't know because it's kind of like a ledge in a sense. So where they were sitting exactly, I'm not real sure. I would say somewhere around the 20-foot range.
Okay, so you were fishing basically a drop. Those fish were staging fish.
Yeah, that's what I think they are. I think because they haven't been there the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So they just showed up.
is this and you say you catch them here every year. Is this a transition area? The fish moving up, into a spawning pocket. What transition part of this phase are you thinking they're in?
Yeah, I feel like they sit there and wait for the right water temperature to
Right.
move up and spawn is what I think. But then again, it doesn't make sense why I catch them kind of all throughout the year in the same spot. That's where I get confused with it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, Hunter, we don't need GPS coordinates, but were you north of the bridge, south of the bridge, east?
I was south of the 147, yes.
South of 147, yeah. I just, so many people go north this time of year above the bridge. And of course, a lot of people catch fish up there, but it's been hammered so much in the last few years. A lot of guys are starting to drift back to the midsection of the lake now.
Yeah, and the mid-lake area has really felt, I'm not going to say dead, but it just hadn't felt like it, above the
Like
bridge.
normal.
That Canyons for the last couple years has just been on fire.
Yes, yep.
And, that's honestly, whenever I went to practice, I went up there thinking, like, I'm tired of getting beat by these boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join them, I guess.
Yeah. So take us through the rest of the day. You said you caught the 8 and the 10 and a couple 4s. Did we get all the way to 28 there, or did we upgrade throughout the day anymore?
Yeah, we had 28 in about 30 minutes.
Good God.
It was, we weighed in a 2-pounder, and not to be that guy, but we had a big one pulled off that,
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. So you had a 2-pounder in this 28-pound sack?
Yeah. They couldn't get rid of.
Dang.
yeah, we couldn't get rid of that 2-pounder.
So you had a 10, a 8, 2 4s, and a 2?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I think it adds up. It's somewhere around there. It was 10:32. We didn't weigh any of them. We threw them in the live well. Throughout the day, I thought we had 23 to 24 pounds, honestly.
Yeah.
And Jared is funny because when he saw me open up the live, because I guess he was in the boat for 3 of the better ones.
Right.
And he does the bump board and all that. And he's looking, and he's like, "Hunter, you got a bag, dude." And I was like, "Man, we got to get rid of that 2-pounder. I'm stressing out about this 2-pounder, and I had that big one pull off, and I'm stressing." And he's like, "Dude, I don't think you know what you got in that live well." And we took him out to take a picture, and he's like, "Oh my goodness." He's like, "You're gonna win." I was like, "Dude, there ain't no way."
Yeah. And you never know at Rayburn. Somebody could come in with a 32-pound bag. It's not uncommon. But the other question I got, you said you caught them in about a 30-minute time frame. Was this early? Rayburn's known for the early bite. You got to get to your spot early, catch them, and then you try to cull the rest of the day. Was that
I do. I think we had our fish. I think we had them by 8:30 for sure. I can't really remember because I think I think we took that picture around like 9 o'clock. So I think we had our fish by about 8:30.
Yeah, and weather really didn't play a role for y'all this tournament. It was good and stable weather.
I feel like everything was, lined up perfect for this. It was kind of cold. I mean, it's similar to like what's going into this week. I feel like it was a little warming trend, and then it got cold again, and it kept them where they were.
Right.
So I'm fully expecting to get my piece of humble pie and weigh in my 9 pounds this weekend with this warm weather.
I was fixing to ask you, are you fishing the team series this weekend?
Yes, sir, I am.
Good deal.
Well, Hunter, hey man, congratulations! You and Trace did a great job, and hopefully this weekend it'll be a deja vu all over again.
Hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. I appreciate the call, guys.
Make sure you get Jared to come get in the boat with you, though. He sounds like your lucky charm.
That's what I said at the weigh-in. That's my lucky charm, man.
Hey, tell him I said hello.
I will.
All right, Hunter Marshall. Thank you, Hunter, for being with us today. We appreciate that. And when we return, we're going to have the final results of this event when we return with more Tackle Talk Live.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. Thank you for tuning us in. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. And again, we can't say thank you enough. Our numbers are continuing to rise. Of course, it's that time of year. We know it's the early spring and our late winter, early spring going into the, Kevin, they're fixing to be spawning now. I mean, it's that time.
It's fixing to happen. The next 2 weeks, I think we're going to see we've had 70-degree weather for 3 days in a row now.
Yeah,
I think within the next 2 weeks, after we get past this little cold front, maybe this weekend, and some of this rain, I think it's going to happen. First weekend of March, it could go down, big time go down.
And of course, that's not just the only time they'll spawn. They'll spawn all the way from now till April. So, but the first wave, this could be the first initial big wave of fish coming up, will be in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's on all these lakes too, because it hasn't happened. The water, we've had such cold weather up until this point.
Cold nights.
You know, a lot of times when it's just kind of gradually getting warmer, we'll have a few go up there and do their deal and get away.
Right.
I don't think any have.
No.
Toledo, Sam Rayburn, here in Natchitoches, anywhere, Shreveport, it hasn't happened yet. And we're sitting here watching MLF on Lake Fork. It's not happening there either. But I heard them say this morning, water temperature is 58 degrees on Lake Fork. So you know Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend has got to at least to be around that. And Steve, when you hit that 58 degree,
they're coming.
They're coming.
Dude.
They coming.
Yeah, they are coming.
I look forward March 5th. What's that weekend? Bass Champs on Rayburn. Osborne that weekend.
Right.
It will be a whack fest.
And also check out the moon phases. The first full moon coming up. I'm not sure when the next one is. I might can look that up real quick while we're talking here. But that's going to be. And by the way, I posted a Tackle Talk poll question on our website, on our Facebook page. Check it out. I want to know what your thoughts are. What's the number one ingredient for the bass to pull up and spawn? You know, is it water temperature? Is it moon phase? Is it daylight hours getting longer? What do you think is the number one ingredient for the spawn? Because we think we know, and we kind of have an idea of what we think triggers it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. So,
Steve, kind of going through the Texas Team Trail results here. So we got Hunter Marshall, Trace Odell Hunter, which we just talked to. They have 5 for 28-16 with a 10-32 big bass. Second place, Casey Burley, who's no stranger to Tackle Talk Live here. We've had Casey on the show twice. Casey Burley, Joshua Rogers. Anytime it's a deep water plug-in tournament, them two are going to be in the mix, no doubt about it. Third place, Randy Turner, James Jared have 5 for 23.08. Fourth place, John Senko and Gary Paris. John, I know, is a big, watches a lot of Tackle Talk Live. They had 20.56. And fifth place was Oscar Langell and James Campice at 2018. We had 7 bags over 20 pounds in this tournament. So good turnout, has some good weights, a lot of 19, 18, and 17 pound bags. 14 pounds was 38th place.
Yeah.
So some good weights, some good sacks caught.
Yeah, it really was. And again, a really good turnout for, let's see, I couldn't, 222 showed up for this event. So congratulations to Texas Team Trail, another fine job. Again, y'all do a wonderful job with your circuit. We appreciate all that y'all put into this. So, and again, congratulations to Hunter and Trace. Job well done. And you know, Kevin, to win one of these kind of tournaments, everything's got to go right. You could tell Hunter and them, he just didn't, they were expecting to maybe catch some good fish, but it's funny how things all of a sudden everything falls right and it goes your way.
Right place, right time on Sam Rayburn.
Yeah.
And right time is such a big thing, especially on Sam Rayburn, because we've been doing the show for 2 years, Steve. And how many of these interviews saying it was the first 30 minutes or it happened in 30 minutes and it was over with? 85, 90% of those interviews for Sam Rayburn, it happens in 30 minutes.
Yep, that is so true. And Toledo Bend, you said they're catching some big bags on Toledo.
Yeah, they had a little small local derby on Toledo Bend this weekend. Cole Moore, who is probably one of the hottest guys in East Texas, Louisiana right now. Cole finished first, him and his uncle. They had 5 for 29 pounds. He had a 9-pounder.
Yeah.
Second place, Cody Pitt by himself had 25 pounds. George Jean Taylor Reynolds was third place with 21 pounds. There was another 20-pound sack. I'm talking about a small local derby, like 20 boats maybe.
Right.
And you have 4 over 20 pounds and a 29 and a 25.
Yeah.
So the big weight, like I said, Cole had a 9-pounder. I know Matt Loescher. Matt watches the show. Matt, shout out to Matt. He caught his 10-pounder.
Yeah.
His first 10-pounder last
congratulations,
week.
Matt. I'm still waiting on mine.
We've all, when it happens, it's like you lift something off your back. It's finally. So congratulations to Matt. But I'd say, he caught his 10-pounder like on Thursday or Friday, I believe.
Right.
And Cole catches at 9 on Saturday, had 29 pounds. Cody Pitt's on him like he always is this time of year, 25 pounds. Steve, there's some big bags getting spit out on Toledo Bend right now.
And I'm excited about that just because it's been down for the last 3 years. And all of a sudden now, these fish are showing back up again. These big bags are showing up. So it's just, Bass Champs last week was off the chart.
Yeah.
It was insane how many 20-plus bags came in last week. And I think that trend's just going to continue on.
So the next bigger tournament that I know of, the Outlaw, is March 12th. Despino's the 13th or vice versa?
Despino's the 13th on the Sunday. Despino Tire.
So the Outlaw Team Series is on the 12th.
Right.
And Despino's on the 13th. It will be interesting.
Yeah, and the full moon
to see the weights
is March the 17th. So 3 days before the full moon, which is when your key period is, that's the 13th. And,
Ooh.
Oh, it could be
The Poche
prime.
tournament is March 27th.
Let's see
That weekend,
here.
whatever it
Let
is.
me pull that up real quick.
Ooh,
We'll make
that
sure we
one's
get
going to
that
get
right.
really interesting.
26. Yeah, the
March
26th.
26 is the Poche tournament.
That's
Get signed up for that one, guys. Dylan Poche tournament, big memorial tournament. Has a huge turnout, first place guaranteeing, I think, 20,000.
Yeah,
They do a great job putting it on Cypress Bend and Toledo Bend. But wow, if that's the full moon, that Poche tournament will hit right.
Yeah, and it's always the 3 days before the full moon and 3 days after. So you're going to fall in that 3 days after on the 26th for sure. So, but anyway, also coming up February 26th. This coming weekend, Outlaw Team Series, as Hunter just alluded to, him and Trace will be in that. It's the second Outlaw Team Series #2 event on Rayburn. February 25th and 26th, the Bass Federation is here on Red River. That's this week. And then the February 27th, Lone Star Bass Trail Tournament.
It's their open tournament.
It's their open tournament.
Yes, yes. For Lone Star Bass Trail, guys, make sure you go follow their Facebook page. They sponsor the show here on Tackle Talk Live, but it's a different style format. They do a lot of different style format tournaments. They do the MLF format. They do the Ironman tournament during the summer. But you make sure to like and follow their their Facebook page to stay up to date with all their tournaments and their announcements.
And they just and also this past weekend, I don't have the results in front of me real quick. We'll try to have that maybe next week. The ABA Open Series was on Palestine. Didn't take a lot of weight over there. Weights were down. I want to say 14 won it.
Yeah.
The weights were way down. I was a little surprised. I'm not a big Palestine guy, but I know it can be great. And I know it's one of them lakes that can be bad. So, but anyway, coming up with ABA is their solo tour. Where you fish by yourself. It's March 18th and 19th. The first one's on Texoma. Second one's Eufaula, Oklahoma. April 22nd, 23rd, and June 17th and 18th is the final tournament on Sam Rayburn. If you're looking to fish something by yourself, no co-angler, you ain't got to worry about a co-angler. You go out and fish by yourself. Check it out. The ABA Solo 150s. It's a great circuit run by Chris Wayan does a tremendous job with this circuit. So if you're looking for something else to fish, that'd be a good one to follow.
Bass Cash Bash. Get registered.
Yes.
March 1st is next week. March 1st is next week. All your other Sam Rayburn is already going right now. March 1st starts. I know Toledo Bend, Lake Fort, which MLF is at right now. Caddo Lake. I can go on down the list. You can go to their website, basscashbash.com. Look on their website. You can get signed up for all the lakes for $100. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that doesn't get registered and catches a tag.
And one more thing, you crappie guys, once again, April 22nd and 23rd, right here in Natchitoches, Louisiana, they're having the Crappie Classic put on by Mr. Crappie. Wally Marshall will be here to put that tournament on. $75,000 invitational to help you qualify. It's on pools 3 and 4. You can qualify for the $300,000 Crappie Invitational on Table Rock Lake in Branson, Missouri. I believe that's in October. So you crappie guys check that out. Crappie fishing's kind of wearing down. Kevin, they're not out in the deep hole out here.
Yeah.
Nobody's out there today. That tells me that they've left the deep hole and these fish are pulling up. So hit the banks, especially on your local waterways. The crappie should be pulling in right now as we speak.
Yep.
Anything else?
I think that's it. MLF guys are live on the MLF app right now on Lake Fork. It's been interesting this week how they've caught them, Steve. I did not expect them to catch them as shallow as they're catching them this week on Fork because it's been cold up there.
Yeah.
Catching them on a big spinner bait, flat-sided crankbait, mostly what I've seen, and some a jerk bait, of course, with the active target and the Garmin live, their live scupping with the jerk bait. I know Jacob Wheeler is. Dakota Ebear was.
Yeah.
So kind of getting caught several different ways up there at Lake Fork.
I believe it was Dakota I saw earlier this morning. He was actually, of course, there's just stumps everywhere. If you've ever been on Lake Fork, it's just stump central USA. But Dakota was in the back of a pocket, stumps everywhere, and he could literally see, he said, a fish on every single stump. So that's how important forward-facing sonar and the impact it's having on our fishing. And so I know the guys that were fishing Harris Chain, some of those guys that did really well. And again, it's not the end-all, be-all for – it's not saying you can't go out and compete, but if you've got that, it really is an advantage.
At certain times, it's an advantage.
It's an advantage.
You know, it really is. And I have it, and I I use it a lot.
But for the next 2 weeks, bed fishing will be a big deal. It probably has no impact whatsoever in bed fishing. And so go out there, catch you some fish, and but do what you're confident in. Do what you're comfortable and confident in, and you'll still be successful. So you can compete with those guys. That it?
That's it for today.
Thank you for tuning us in. We appreciate you. Please check us out on YouTube. Hit subscribe so you'll get notifications of our next show. We need more subscribers. We need about.
We're almost to our goal. We're like goal. 40 subscribers away.
Yep. Check us out on Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, podcast. If you would like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page. Kevin will make sure he sends out a detailed packet for you. For Kevin Jean, our producer, James Stanfield, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.